Okay, we're recording. We're here with our next stranger. Could you tell us your name or what you'd like to be called and a little about yourself?
My name is Mira. I am 22 years old. I am a photographer based out of Atlanta.
Oh, cool. So you were talking about how you talk to Badger, to the speed, the Need for Speed guy, right? What you guys talk about?
When I met him, I was like, I really like your hairstyle. And then we started to talk about video games, and I asked him if he streamed. He said, yeah, I don't know if he's mainly streaming Need for Speed runs, but I think he brought that up, and then we started to talk about how he used to play a lot of Need for Speed as a kid, and I told him I used to play that game a lot too, and other racing games like Forza. And then he said how he found a community of people that just did speed runs for his favorite game, and how I think he said he held the title or the world record for fastest speed run in the Need for Speed in that specific game that he was playing. So we just talked about that, and then we talked about other video games and stuff.
That's crazy. Isn't that crazy
Yeah.
how there are 36,000 people online and that we both talked to the same guy? I think that's just
Yeah.
crazy.
His whole his angle from when you meet him on Omegle is pretty interesting. So
Hmm.
kind of begs the
Oh,
question.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because you're a photographer, and so yeah. So how'd you get into photography? Tell us a little about your journey with that.
Well, I was in high school. I had a friend, and he was really big into photography at that time, and he still is now. And I used to see him taking photos, and I was always interested in it, but I never had a clue as to where to start. And so he encouraged me to get a film camera, and it was just a small point and shoot. It's actually this one right here. So this is my first camera
Oh
ever.
man,
Yeah,
dude.
it actually came from California from this YouTuber called King Japes. He does a lot of film photography and photography stuff. So at that time he had a couple thousand followers, and I think ever subscribers, and since then he's like blown up even more. And but at that time I watched his videos to get into film photography, and he sent me that camera and another one. He sent me that one and an SLR, which is like an old school, not a point and shoot like that, but like an actual camera. And it's this one right here. So it was an old Nikon.
Oh, dude,
So he used to send me this
that's a
one.
nice one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
These are all nice, but after that, I kept getting more and more into photography. I wanted to go more into film photography, but I just realized eventually that I get really lazy waiting for development, and the nearest development to me is like 40 minutes away, and I just didn't feel like driving that every time I wanted to get all my photos developed. So I just started doing more digital stuff,
mhm.
and now I mainly shoot digital.
So what's the difference for you between film and digital?
Well, the difference would be for digital, you would get the photos like now, whenever you want to see them. Like you would take a photo, or if you finish a photo shoot, and then you get home and you have the photos right there. Whereas if you do film, you would take the photos, and like for example on digital, you take a photo, you can see on the little screen on your computer to see if you like the composition, if you like the angle, the light, the exposure. And then if you don't like it, you can change it right there and take another photo and compare them. But whereas when you do film, you don't have that. You have to like take the shot and then just hope that it's like what you picture it in your head. And then when you get the developments, like you either hit it or you missed it.
Is the quality better for film? Like I'm trying now these days, digital is so much more convenient and efficient, right?
Yeah.
Is there kind of like an artistic kind of a
I
uh,
think and the differences in that would be that, like you said, there's a convenience, and depending on which film camera you get, sometimes film cameras are like on par with the quality of digital cameras, because like glass back then, depending on where you got your lenses from, or how well you took care of your camera, like you can get some really sharp images. Like I have, like for example, this one, like this is a different film camera. It's a point and shoot, but like this one has better quality than the other one that I showed you. Like this
Hmm.
one doesn't have as good as image quality as this one, just because of the lens glass,
I
or yeah,
see.
the lens glass. So depending on the type of glass you had and how well you took care of it, like the quality of the photos are on par. And then with digital photography, some people make film stocks. So stocks are basically like filters for Instagram, and they make so you upload your photos onto whatever photo editing website or software you're using. So I use Adobe Lightroom. That's the software I use to edit my photos, and
Hmm.
I have like film filters per se that are a bunch of film presets, and then I can use those presets to make my digital photos look like they're film.
Dude,
'Cause
it's so like you are just so passionate about it. Like it's just like what is the stuff that you shoot? What is the
So since I started shooting, I was mainly shooting my friends. When we were in high school, I shot street photography, and then once I got into college, I go to school downtown. So I have like the entire downtown like life. Like we take photos of like people walking, getting their coffee. Like morning rush hour, and sometimes during the winter months, it gets like really really cold. So it's a different type of energy taking photos of somebody like on a Monday morning during the summer versus during the winter. It's like two different energies.
so you're very interested in kind of like the like capturing human nature like as it's happening in different circumstances, like the capturing the environment and like a person's reaction to the environment kind of thing.
Yeah, I like being aware of my environment, especially downtown. There's a lot of like crazy things you can see, and I I like people watching. It's kind of relaxing because sometimes I get really stressed out from school. So I'll just like go in with my camera and like sit down at my courtyard and just watch all like the students walk by, and sometimes take photos of like when everybody's like rushing to get to their classes. Like the courtyard is filled with like hundreds of people, and like taking a photo, you can see like everybody's different personalities express their clothing. But I also before the pandemic, I was getting a lot of concerts. So I was shooting a lot of small shows here in Atlanta. I was shooting shows for a group of friends that I have, that they're part of a music group called Nedlog Media, and Nedlog is just golden backwards. So Nedlog
Hmm.
Media, and they were doing shows for uh, Afropunk Festival here in Atlanta, which is mainly a festival mainly oriented towards alternative rock and rap music, and that was really fun. I managed to do another music festival called A3C through a connection of one of my friends, and I shot a lot of West Coast rappers, like Megan the Stallion or YG, Buddy, a whole bunch of people from the West Coast that came to Atlanta, and yeah, I also shoot portraits, babies, baby shoots.
What's your favorite job that you've done, and what's like the worst?
Well, thankfully, I haven't had a bad experience. I haven't had
With
an
babies? You
experience.
kidding me?
No, I haven't, thankfully. But I mean, I guess I just lucked out. I got like calm, chill babies. But I think my favorite shooting gig that I've gotten so far is, I think it might have been the my friends. I shot for my friends, Nedlog, and I did a studio shoot for them. And it was my first ever studio shoot, like actual proper studio with studio lighting. And the people that were working at the studio were really helpful. And they were like, have you ever shot here before or at a studio? And I was like, no. So they just gave me a quick rundown on how to use the lighting, how to use flash, because the lighting of the lights had this device that you would attach to your camera. So whenever you press the shutter button, the flash would go off. But you
Hmm.
had to make sure everything, like all the settings in your camera, is fine. Otherwise, like the photo might be too white because of the flash, or it might be too dark. But that's like information I already knew. But it was nice having people there who weren't like being judgmental or anything. And then my friends were they're pretty supportive. And I'm not the type of person that like when somebody tells me like damn, like your photos are really good or whatever. Like I don't know. I think I'm the type of person that like I'll look at my photos like and see what I could have edited better or like what could I have done better. I think I sometimes I over criticize my own photos
Hmm.
and like I don't know how to deal with compliments sometimes. I don't really.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like it feels good, but like I don't know. It's just weird sometimes to me.
Yeah. Is there like a particular feeling that you kind of like have when you get a compliment? Like a go-to reaction?
Oh, I'm just like thanks for the opportunity, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your response, but like a feeling. Like, do you have
Oh,
a
feeling
particular feeling?
wise,
Yeah.
um, feelings. I think the feeling would be like I hope it's good. I guess like
Mm.
hoping.
Mm.
Like I hope you like it. Like I hope it's good.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. The thing that was um, yeah. One thing that you said kind of earlier on is when you were talking about Badger and the angle that he had of his camera, and you were
Yeah.
like, it's in that angle was really interesting, right? That his camera, like, to you, like, what what can be gleaned from the angle of a camera? Like, uh, what like by talking about that angle, like, what was it that you were aware of?
Well, if you don't mind me opening, I'll open
Totally.
the
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
right now with you and Badger.
Cool.
So, when I had met him at Omegle, I think he had like some lights on, like purple or something.
Hmm.
But it was like a different lighting, I'm sure. And he looked like he had like a hat on, and like his hair looked really cool. And he has like long. I was like, hey, you look. I was like, hey, you look like a rock star because of his hair. And like he had I think he had a shirt that was also cut like right here, as well. You know, like
Yeah.
those
One of those cutoff tees. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, dude, you look like a rock star. And then he just reminded me like of old school rock stars, you know,
Hmm.
like hardcore rock stars. And I thought it was a really interesting angle that he had because a lot of people just have like a frontwards angle, but like his is like it's like kind of a little bit off to the side, and like his body is like this. Like he has like the lighting in like my shirt, right? Because it's black,
Yeah.
but like his like thing is like that, and I think his camera's a little bit wider too.
Oh, interesting. See, that's
Almost.
something that like I bet you most people would not catch, like, but because you have your expertise, you have your way of seeing the world through a camera lens, like you can pick up on that. And like how a
Yeah,
person comes off just based off of an angle. If I'm like sitting here like this instead of just like straight on. Interesting.
yeah. I mean, I we met because we both searched through the tag Twitch, So I like, I guess just because I try to do Twitch as a hobby, and I try to like improve the quality of it, I can notice when like somebody really tries to like make the quality of their camera, the lighting and everything, the angle, because an interesting angle will give people that impression like, oh, like this guy has an interesting angle that he wants to stream from. It's not like the front facing. And then some guys have like their cameras at like pointing at their mouse and keyboard or something. Or some guys have the camera like pointed like from a really high point of view. I don't know if you've ever come across somebody on
Yeah,
Omegle,
where
but
it's
some guys
just
have it
like,
like
yeah,
super high and they're
yeah.
looking down at them. Like that's interesting to me. I think
Why?
it's really.
What is it about that kind of an angle that interests you? Is it the distance? Is it
I
the
think it's the uniqueness, the like it's like what? Like the weirdness, the uniqueness, like
yeah?
it's just funny to see. It's interesting because not a lot of people do it, so it's like a good switch up.
Huh.
Yeah.
With like photography and everything and getting into it and stuff like do you have a lot of support behind you from like family and community and stuff for
Well,
your pursuit?
yeah. So I got myself a more. Well, I used to be shooting digital on like an old camera from. It was called a Rebel, Canon Rebel T3i, and then I was shooting on that one, and that one is at least like more than 10 years old, and it's not full frame. It's I forget the exact word, but when you take a photo, when you take a photo of something, like the camera would cut it a bit into what and the image it would show you would be like a cut image, not the full image that you saw. So
Hmm.
I decided to get myself a full frame camera, and full frame cameras don't cut the image. So like whatever you take a photo of is what you're gonna see, and so that's the type. And I got myself a new one, and my mom was supportive of it. She like helped me financially with it, and
Uh-huh.
a lot. Well, like I said, my friend that got me into photography, he is also supportive, and a lot of my friends are creative people. And here in Atlanta, there's a big creative scene,
Yeah, it's
and
great for film. I mean, Atlanta is the place for film these days.
yeah, Atlanta. Oh yeah, and like the Tyler Perry Studios was finished built here, and so there's a lot of acting jobs, a lot of acting careers here, a lot of creative careers, music wise, music production, and or making music. Atlanta, if you're into rap music, Atlanta. Some can argue that Atlanta is like the epicenter for music in rap right now, and what is being trendy and setting the precedent for future artists. Um, and well, also at the same time, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because I've been around like some events where like you could say people who have some sort of notoriety in Atlanta are there, and like I don't know, like sometimes I feel like the vibe is too like fake for me. It's like everybody's trying to like be cool or like be like I don't know, like just not themselves, like afraid to be themselves because they want to be cool or something. And some of my friends have told me before, it's like some of them have been like, there's some of them have been like, yeah, I'm pretty sure some of them are like pretending, and some people just truly don't care. You know, like some people just have that
Mm.
energy where it's like, oh, I don't care about anything, and then like people are gravitated towards them for some reason. I mean, like all more success to them, but I don't know. I just felt like for me, like a lot of people were pretending like to be really cool or to be like I don't know, like
More than they are or something like posers.
yeah, like they like in a way it was like everybody was posing to try to look cool or whatever. And but there's a lot of genuine people here in Atlanta too, so
Uh,
it's all about being having a good discernment for people and making sure that you surround yourself with people who are encouraging and positive and who are gonna motivate you creatively, you know, and also people who aren't gonna be like yes men, you know. We're not gonna like say like, oh yeah, this is good, this is good, this is good, even though they might think it's like bad. So I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, if I ever think that you make something and I think it's like not good, like because like I would know what is like good for them in terms of quality because I've been friends with them for a while, so I know like the type of quality that they expect out of themselves. And if I ever see something that they create and I know it's not like good, I'll be like, yo, like you could do better, or this isn't good. And I've told them before, I'm like, dude, if I'll tell you guys that. I just don't want you guys to get like annoyed because I or mad or anything, like I'm being disrespectful or anything. Because I would want my friends to be like, yo, like this isn't
And to
good.
be upfront with you, yeah. Be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. But
Why do you think people uh act fake? Like,
I don't know. Social media, Instagram, maybe
mhm.
social
So you
media,
think it's like
Twitter.
you think that are you saying like you think social media is conditioning them to be fake?
I don't think social media is conditioning people to be fake. I don't know. I feel like social media has an influence on people. Like, for example, like you get somebody famous and then they'll show up somewhere and just because they're famous, they expect to be treated like a little, like more favorably. Like if you're a famous person, you go to a restaurant like 20 minutes before it closes, you know, like, and you stay there longer than that. It's like, bro, like everybody has lives, you know, like families, like get out of here. Because they're famous, like they think.
Sounds like a personal story. Is this are you like a waiter or a chef or have you been?
No, no, no. I just like I have friends who had that experience to them where like they've been working somewhere and like if somebody famous comes in and like you know like it's rude to like go to a restaurant like 10 minutes before, especially a dine-in restaurant, and like go past the time and then you know expect to for people to like not be annoyed or whatever because they've been working all day
It's
and
like if you're a famous person, come in and you come in 20 minutes before it closes. Just be, I mean, I feel like the least you could do is be like, hey, like whatever the bill is, I will give that to you in tip. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. But like to tie it back into photography or in the creative scene,
Right.
um, I just think like people want like creatives want to get their work out there, and getting their work out there comes with followers. So the more followers you get, people are gonna come up with this idea like, oh, like that guy has 10,000 followers, or oh, that guy has like 50,000 followers, or oh, that guy's like friends with Drake, for example. Like he hangs out with Drake a lot. And if people see this on social media, for example, you come up to this guy, you have this idea of like, oh, this guy has to be cool. Like he has to be like known in the industry because he's friends with Drake, you know? So people are like start to like try to befriend them, but at the same time try to like gain from them at the same time. Like, oh, dude, you're friends with that guy who's friends with Drake, you know? Like, damn, like you must be cool by association, you know? And like you'll try to take a photo of somebody. Like there's some people that like go to places just to take photos of famous people, which is fine or whatever, but like that's not what what photography is about, you know. It's about
Yeah, it's a lot
cre-
more than that. Yeah.
yeah, it's about like creating a relationship with whoever you're gonna shoot. And if it's like for example, if it's like a concert, then you can't do that, right? You go, it's a different environment. But like for some events, like pop up shops where there's somebody like a small brand is debuting their collection for fall winter, and you see some famous people there, and like you go just to take photos of them, like everybody's gonna be like, dude, like what the hell? Like, are you here to like take photos of them or like to support like my pop up, you know? And then it just becomes like rude at that point. And some people and that rudeness like unfortunately like the acts of one or two like affect everybody else, you know, because and then some people are going to be like, well, like no cameras or like no nothing, which is fine and it's up to them. But it creates this idea that like some people are doing photography just for the Instagram or social media notoriety or following, whereas some people like truly want to showcase their art and whatever it may be.
Well, I think I think like the people who are posers at heart, well, I don't even think that people really are posers at heart. I think that people that are posers are just deeply insecure and want
Yeah,
attention, want reputation, want prestige, and that like in terms of like if those people are kind of bringing many other photographers in the area a bad name, right? Which may be one of the reasons why you're kind of feeling that way or talking about it. It's affecting you that way. Like the people who are creating the art that is authentic and genuine and like is deeply rooted in understanding or seeing the world in a different way, you know, that work will come to the surface and people will know just by seeing the work, you know.
yeah,
So it's like these personalities, there'll always be people who are social climbers and will be assholes to get what they think they want or they'll use it as a tactic to get to a place, and they think that'll work. But in the long run, no one likes those people, and nothing creative comes from those people anyway. You know, it's just kind of
yeah,
like those kind of attitudes are based off of a social idea of what we need to do, and no
yeah,
fulfillment will come from that. And it's like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that I don't know if it. I mean, I guess posers is a good way to describe them, but I would say maybe they're more so like misguided,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
uh, hopefully, like they realize, because it's only gonna ever go back and hurt them in the long run,
And
But thankfully, like I've had friends who like I'm like really proud of them because they managed to work with a lot of um like the like main people here in Atlanta. They managed to work with like artists, and they managed to make friendships with them. It's really amazing to see because I know that that's only like the beginning, and then
mm,
they're gonna keep going, and hopefully they can work in music videos or be hired to be like a personal photographer for someone, and like actually make a career out of it. So that's really good for them, and for me to see people who are genuine in the craft and who are getting the attention that they deserve, and it's not like others who are just doing it to climb really fast the social ladder.
yeah, and earn money or whatever that may be. Yeah, is it difficult like financially to? I'm a fellow creative. I'm an actor, and I'm wondering like for you, is it been how has it been?
Well, because I've been shooting for 2 years, and I started taking it more serious like a year and a half ago. I and I also wasn't shooting on like the best quality camera, so I never really charged people for shoots. And then shooting for concerts and stuff, that was more so for like me, for my portfolio that I got through a connection, and thankfully, like I was given that opportunity. But I've never charged anyone for a shoot. Because I guess it goes back to that whole like, oh, I'm new. Like, I don't know if I
Hmm.
should be charging people because I don't know if the quality of photos that they want, like I'm gonna provide.
That's a
And then
tough
this,
thing, right? Yeah,
yeah,
because it's like in one sense it's like I'm new, like I don't know if it's worth it, but it's also like in another sense like if you're not charging for anything, is that a representation of what you feel like your own quality is? You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, if you're not charging anything, do you feel like your quality isn't good enough? Like maybe people will see that and think, oh, like his quality isn't great. But then you also don't want to charge $1,000 for like two baby pictures, you know?
Oh
So it's
yeah,
like,
for sure. I've never like I haven't charged like a crazy amount of money. Like I've asked my friends like who have charged in the past, like, hey, like what should I charge? Like what should my starting be for people? Because you have to take into consideration that like it's all my equipment, and then travel, and then take photos, and then get back home, and then edit them, and then like sometimes like hours, like I'll take hours on editing photos, and after a while I was like, dude, like I have to charge people because
yeah, of
I'm
course,
like
it's your time. Dude,
yeah, it's
like
like a lot of my time and I'm not charging anyone, but I
yeah,
also
man,
don't want to like charge people a lot
nothing
of
more,
money.
there's nothing more valuable than your time. There's nothing more valuable than that. I mean, that and also like your creative eye, like that, you have to, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so then
It's
I
a tough
started.
balance.
Yeah, my friends charge between 50 to 75 an hour. And I was like, because I'm starting off, I'll just charge like between 30 to 50 an hour. And then for editing, I'll do like a 75, like strict fee for all editing. So it's $75, and then 30 to 50 for each hour. So I feel like that's good
Do
because I
have you I have to ask you, have you ever thought about doing headshot photography?
I have like for LinkedIn and stuff.
Well, okay, you got to check this out. So if you go to backstage.com, that's where all of the actors go
Yeah,
to get acting work. If you sign up to that for a year and just post like, hey, like headshot photographer, uh, like doing headshots for like, I mean, you can do some like research into like what headshot photographer like websites do. I think they do like two or three looks,
yeah,
um, and if you say like I'll charge you 200 to 250 bucks, $200 for three looks over a 2 hour period, people will pay that. Like $200 for headshot photography is nothing. Like that would be a great way to kind of like, and you're very easy to talk to, you know? So like meeting people one on one, like talking, like, you know,
yeah. And like, dude, don't get me wrong. Like, having a conversation over the internet is like a completely different thing
oh,
for
then
me,
in
at
oh,
least.
of
Having a
course. Well, yeah.
conversation in person.
Yeah.
Um,
But
I,
don't sell
I
yourself short.
yeah, I try to be friendly with everybody, and I also try to be understanding of everyone, and but at the same time try not to make people like come off as a pushover for people, because then it just doesn't like I don't like having conversations with people who assume that everything's going to go their way, and so I just try to make sure, like I try to do a lot of research um for creating like a comfortable shooting environment, because the uncomfortableness in a photo shoot setting is just like the worst. Like you're not going to get good photos, like your client is not going to be comfortable, and so I just try to be really laid back and chill. So it's good that or it's nice to hear that you think that.
You have a very calm energy. You know what I mean? Like very laid back and relaxed.
Yeah,
That's like what you
some people think I'm like too calm, like too much. They're like, dude, like where's your emotion? And I'm like, dude, it's there. Like it's there.
I swear I'm a human.
It's just my voice. It's just I have a monotone voice. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great thing to have on a shoot, on a set, because like if you know what you're doing and someone asks you for help with something, like, and you're just like, yeah, sure. And then you help them with it without getting frazzled. I mean, that is important. And then also like with your actual clients, Like people don't want to be taking pictures with photographers who are like, frazzled and don't know which way is up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like especially like nowadays, there's a couple. It was a couple months ago. There was like a wave on social media where like a bunch of photographers were like getting outed for like making mainly women feel uncomfortable and making people uncomfortable in photo shoot settings, and then it's like fuck, dude, like being a photographer or creative in any setting is already like it's a hard thing to do for a lot of people because it's emotionally um, really intensive for some people and financially at the beginning it's hard and you try to make connections and stuff and it just gives photographers like a bad image for whole because you never want the
Mm-hmm.
words like um, harassment and like photographers linked together.
Yeah, yeah,
But there's a lot of like there's been a lot of super famous photographers that like got outed like for being complete dickheads and like being harassing the like women that they were shooting. Like I know a while ago there was the photographer for I don't know if it was for them. I don't know if he worked for them, but he was that he did photo shoots for them and for Ariana Grande. I don't know his name, but he was a photographer for them, and like he got outed for like being like really inappropriate and harassing his clients and like he would like harass people online to shoot with him, like do like revealing photo shoots and stuff, and it was like really gross. um, I personally have never done like any nude shoots or like revealing shoots, mainly because like it makes me uncomfortable. So like I wouldn't want to like just me being uncomfortable in that sense would be like already bad because if like the photographer is uncomfortable, like the client is gonna be uncomfortable. So I
right.
always tell people like I don't like doing nude shoots or revealing shoots. Like anything else outside of that, like I'm down. Like and if yeah, anything else outside of that, like I'm good with, but I just can't do that type of shooting. So
It's putting you in a difficult position. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean,
I'd rather not be even involved with it. I know Keanu Reeves. Whenever he hugs like women that like try to give him hugs, he like holds his hand out like that. Like he doesn't like when you give somebody a hug, right? You do this, but whenever he's hugging people, he always has like his hand out like that, so that girls aren't like, oh, like he groped me or like anything like that. So
wow. I mean, to condition yourself to do that is also like, I don't know. To Yeah, that's. I mean, that's him taking the safe way.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's sad that that's where we're coming to in our culture with like, like empathy and you want to like show like my hands are up here while hugging a person. I mean, it's almost like why are you even hugging them? Like
Yeah.
you
Oh
know,
no, I don't mean like hugs like that. But whenever you take a photo with somebody, right, and you're giving like a side hug,
oh, just like
yeah,
kind of
he
the.
had his hands out like that, and like you never see that with a common person. Like they're never gonna have their hands out like that. Like there's usually like
It's still. I
wrapped.
mean, it's still like conditioning yourself to just like be like hands up.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not. I don't know. Yeah, it's just kind of a sad occurrence. I think. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think for small creatives who are just starting, I think it's good that you try to always look out for yourself, you know,
Hmm.
and make sure that you're doing your best to make your clients feel comfortable and never do anything that'll come off like questionable, I guess.
Hmm.
So
Well, before we get going, this is I really enjoyed listening and hearing kind of your thoughts of film and everything, and well, photography. What is there anything that you haven't talked about that you think that you would like to say that has been in the back of your mind or anything?
Um, I wonder how like so I really like concert photography, and I just like I that was one of my like focuses before the pandemic. One thing that I really wonder is like after COVID, the normality of concerts is gonna be like way different. So I just wonder how that's gonna. Well, for me, I think about how concert photography is gonna change after the pandemic. um, it might be a change for a while. I feel like things might go back to normal for after a while, like at least a year or 2 years, depending on the success rate of the vaccine or if anything. But besides that,
Yeah, who
things that
knows,
are in
man.
my mind is like COVID. You know, when is COVID gonna go away? Because I'm a senior in college now, and I'm graduating in May of next year, and hopefully something that's on my mind is like, well, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to attend a physical ceremony, you know, not like a
Mm.
virtual or a digital one, because I'm the first person in my family to go to college. My I and I would want a actual ceremony to like have my parents attend, and you know it would be the best like ideal for anybody going to college to like actually go to a physical ceremony, you know, because they work so hard. Like having a digital ceremony is like kind of a bummer, you know. And so for me, I hope COVID is you know gone soon
Yeah.
in whatever way that may be, but I don't see it going away until maybe next year. I mean, we're 4 months away, you know, from the end of the year, like 3 months now,
Oh.
because we're about to be in September. So, or yeah, 4 months, yeah.
Mhm.
9, 10, yeah, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah,
Yeah,
math.
I know.
Four
I
months.
was just doing the same thing. I was just like, wait, it is the ninth month, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
still
I forgot
four.
to include
Yeah,
September. Yeah,
yeah.
so it's like September, October, November,
I
December.
know. I was doing the same thing,
Yeah,
dude.
but yeah, I feel like that's on everybody's mind. Like, when is COVID going away for the U.S. at least? Because I know for other countries, like they other countries have, you know, all props to them. Like they've dealt with COVID like in a really really good way, where like they're some of them don't even have to use masks anymore. But like I know the U.S. has the most like cases in the world right now, and a lot of that can be attributed to um, people just not taking responsibility. Some people thinking that COVID is a lie, and some people thinking that it's a political game or whatever. But the truth is, you know, that there are people dying of this disease every day, and who knows when it's going to be dealt with. Like nobody would have expected this like last year at this time, dude. Like nobody would have
I
expected
know.
like,
Yeah, what
dude,
was happening right now?
next year we're gonna have a huge pandemic that's gonna put the whole world on stop for like 2 months. Like remember going back to like travel bans, like you couldn't travel, like I have a friend and they're like just afraid of like not being able to come back into the U.S. You know, like some people. And I have a friend, and his friend is like he told me that his friend got stuck in I think Malaysia or the Philippines. Like he couldn't come back, and he couldn't like he couldn't come back into the U.S. for like a month or something. And it's like, damn, dude, like all these people that like it just put the whole world, everybody's plans for 2020. It just put everybody's plans on stop. Like for 2020, like my plans were like I'm gonna reach out to more music festivals, reach out to artists, see if I can set up shoots with them, and you know just expand my portfolio as much as I could, and then it got put on hold. So
Yeah, who knows what the heck is going to happen with all of this? You
And
know,
like acting for you, you said are you an actor? Is that what you said?
yeah, yeah. So like the theater I'm in down here, like I had a show that was canceled, that was going to be going on in April. You know, that got thrown out the window. I was supposed to do a tour around Florida,
Yeah.
all of throughout the fall for like 2 months, and that's been adapted now to doing a short film. And
Hmm.
then next year there's supposed to be a few shows, but now that's in question. So I mean, like my whole profession is on the line because I don't do film really. I do mainly just theater,
Theater. Yeah.
and right now it's on the line. The
Yeah.
whole profession is like in jeopardy. So
Yeah.
yeah, who knows what will happen.
I mean, I've never been to a theater, but I'm always wanting to go to a theater and because I mean, I just think act theater and that whole matter of expression, all that is theater, like theater production, lighting, makeup, the actual actors, all of that is like super cool to me because there's so many like different components of a theatrical play that like people don't think about.
Yeah,
And
totally. And you see that too, right? It being behind the scenes.
yeah, I regret not taking like theater in high school. I feel like I would have liked it a lot more.
Well, Mira, you can always go and take a class. Some of them are cheap, and if you ever have time, you could take like a class for 8 weeks and just be like, hey, I want to try it.
Yeah,
There's no reason not to, except for financially. But if you have the
yeah,
time and you're interested, I mean, this like the whole idea of like our society of like having to do one thing, and that the idea that one thing is going to fulfill us is completely, I think, I think
a lie.
it's a lie. I mean, we're
Yeah,
so much more than like if I say I'm an actor, you know what? I love reading about religion, psychology, art. I really love. I'm like reading like these like Taoist texts. I'm reading like Shakespeare. What else am I? I'm like I love going to the beach. I love hiking. All of these things are like completely. They have nothing to. Well, they have a lot to do with acting in very different ways. But to
yeah,
say that like I'm an actor and that's all I am, or I am a photographer and that's all I am, by exploring all the other parts of ourselves, it just makes us more rich. I think. You know what I mean?
yeah. It does. I understand that point of view. Surprisingly enough, that makes me think of Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kanye West said before he hates when people categorize him as a rapper, you know, because he
Mm-hmm.
thinks of himself as an artist. And whenever you attribute the word rapper, you automatically think to like just music. But he doesn't want to do just music. He never was the type of person that just wanted to be limited to one thing. So he created like his own fashion company that did really well. You know, he's worked in museums. He's done a whole bunch of things. So I understand that that sentiment of not wanting to label yourself as something because then people are just gonna try to uh,
Box you in.
yeah, box you in, and then that never works out. So
Well, it's up to us not to label ourselves too. I think
yeah,
that's the struggle. Is like when everyone else starts to label you, or you sense that you like ingratiate that into your identity, where in fact who I am right now is so many different things. I am present with you, you know. So right now, I guess I'm a YouTuber, but like it's so much more than that. Like so much more than that.
yeah,
Like we're talking about art. We're talking about we're connecting as people. Like
hmm,
600 miles away from each other or something.
yeah,
Like we're also sharing this with 100 people. The people
yeah.
that
37,000 other people.
Yeah. So like, I mean, there's just so much else going on. To say that it's just one thing is
Yeah,
it's almost blind. It's like blind to do that. Um,
yeah, yeah. It it's a lot. It's a
it
lot
is.
to
It is. Yeah.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
lot to really
Digest.
go into. But I think what's important is to just find things that bring you happiness, and try to share them with others and help others in whatever they find as a creative outlet or outlet for being happy and being joyous and just being supportive, a good friend.
Mm-hmm. Supportive and non-judgmental, I think, is the
Yeah.
huge thing. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
taking responsibility. I think being taking into account and being responsible for your decisions is important too. And taking accountability. That's the word I was looking for.
Accountability. Being
Yeah.
accountable to yourself.
Yeah.
So is your name spelled this way?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna post this video immediately, so you'll be able to see it like in 5 minutes.
Oh shit. All right, man.
So make sure to subscribe,
I
and
will, bro.
yeah, dude.
I'll
If you ever
subscribe.
want to talk again, I've got my email there. Shoot me an email, and we can chat. Okay.
Is your email in your bio on your YouTube?
Yeah, it is. It's on my.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
It's.
View email address.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right, man.
Yeah, dude. Okay. Well, thanks for talking. Thanks for taking time, and I guess we talked for an hour. See?
Really?
Yeah. See? It flies, right?
Fuck, dude. Time flies.
Yeah.
Time fucking flies,
Yeah.
man.
Like at first you're like skeptical, like, I'll talk for like 10 minutes but then I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man,
Time just goes. It's
yeah.
the flow. It's the flow. It's a state of flow. People don't realize people whenever time just flies, it's because people are in a flow motion, in a flow mentally. So time just goes by super fast.
Yeah, man, exactly. All right, dude. Well, I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All
Take
right,
care.
bro.
Take care of
I'll be.
yourself.
You too. Take care of yourself. I'll be looking for the video. I'll
All
be refreshing my YouTube like every 10 minutes.
right. And check out some of the other videos I have too, because there are some really interesting people.
Yeah, I'm
Really
gonna look at the
interesting.
Badger one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Badger. And then also I talked to these three people from North Dakota yesterday. Really interesting.
Oh shit! All right,
So
man.
check that out. Yeah. Click through it. All right, I'll see you.
All right, see you, bro.
Bye.